A recently launched campaign designed to transform drought-affected businesses has made its way to Sydney. Joining us now is Grace Brennan, founder of Buy From The Bush. How are you, Grace?
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
How's it all going?
It's been incredible, amazing. We had this pop-up market in Martin Place on Thursday and just were so well supported by businessmen, people from the suburbs catching the train in to check out the bush businesses. It was a beautiful event.
Tell us about it. It started October 16th
Yes.
and it's just gone through the roof.
Yes, it has gone through the roof. So it started as an Instagram and Facebook page. And basically the idea was to just broadcast beautiful things available to buy from rural communities facing drought. And yeah, everyone's got behind it. So I think we're at just over 150,000 followers on Instagram, and we've got a website now, and lots of incredible kind of beautiful stories of bush businesses being lifted up by their city customers.
And people want to help. They always do want to help, but they don't always know how to. Sometimes it's not just throwing money, just there you are. But what you're saying, what you're promoting is get involved in these economies.
Exactly, and appreciate them and value them for what they are. There's amazing stuff on offer in the bush if you just go looking. And I think, as one business owner told me, you know, these communities won't survive on charity, but they will survive on good business, and that's what this campaign is kind of promoting.
What do you think made it so successful so quickly? I mean, I read on your website that the Rural Australia Post franchises were selling out of parcels due to the increased postage demand. How did it work so quickly?
I think, as you said, I think people want to help, and they knew how to help, and it was just kind of a see it, like it, buy it, and know that you're supporting somebody that really needs it. And I also think they're falling in love with these beautiful businesses, and some of it's handmade, some of it's sourced globally and sold locally, but all of it's having an enormous impact at a local level. So I think people can just appreciate its simplicity and that it's having real impact.
There's always that threat, isn't there, that when people just continually see stories of drought or stories of hardship, that they can vague out. And
exactly.
It's sort of, sometimes it can be out of sight, out of mind, and that is a big thing with rural communities because there is isolation involved.
Exactly, and I think the other thing is it's so easy to vague out because you can't relate to a farmer in the middle of a paddock necessarily suffering drought. It's quite unique and distinct, but running a small business is way more relatable, and we don't hear enough about the impact of drought on rural communities more broadly. So what this is doing is kind of telling the story of drought, but through a positive lens, and showing you that people are innovating and working hard and trying to survive really tough conditions, but beyond just the paddock.
Yeah, and adding to that, you know, it lifts their spirits emotionally and having that real connection and employing other people as well. So it's really a win-win situation. Have you got any examples of some of the consumers and also some of the business owners and how they've responded? Yeah,
so it was just lovely in Martin Place to see there was lots of old bushies who now call Sydney home coming and just having a yarn with businesses and telling stories about where they'd grown up, and then lots of Sydney-siders kind of asking that they'd buy something, but then they'd say, "How is it? How's it going? Where are you from?" It's this beautiful kind of conversation that doesn't necessarily happen when you're shopping on a big, you know, aggregate website or something like that. So, I mean, in terms of real stories, it's literally been the difference for some businesses in staying open through the drought. They're about to close their doors and now they're not. And for others, it's women on farm who are doing a side hustle, and suddenly that's the primary income stream because the farm's not making any money. And at the markets on Thursday, I looked up the stream, there was about 10 stalls, and all of the farmers were there helping their wives hustle, you know, packing stationery in plastic bags. And it was just this beautiful reversal because so many of the women are out in rural communities living for their partners and supporting them in their role, but this time it's a bit of a reverse. So that's kind of a little side gig that I'm enjoying watching.
And look, if you're a city family, in a world where the kids are always lurching for iPads and phones and anything they can get their eyes on, take them on a holiday to the bush. Go to the country. What they can get as an education in that, and just the fact that they're out.
Exactly. I mean,
fresh air and
I grew up in the city and now live on a farm, and my husband sometimes comes inside and said, "Well, you're raising city kids in the bush," because I've not got them outside enough. But that's exactly right. I mean, if social media or shopping online is not your thing, please think about visiting your favourite town or getting on the road and exploring new towns, maybe getting a haircut, maybe getting your car serviced, like supporting small business in other ways. We do have a social media page at Stay in the Bush, which is kind of inspiring beautiful places to stay all across Australia in rural communities. And yeah, just think about how you might want to get out there and have conversations, because it's having a huge impact.
How's it been over Christmas? I mean, obviously you were in Martin Place just recently, but yeah, compared to when you started in October, and what's next for you?
It's just been a kind of a trajectory that just keeps going up. It's been manic, but I imagine that we'll slow a little bit now as we get closer to Christmas and everybody just wants to unwind, and then hopefully wind back up in the new year, because obviously the drought won't be over, and the impact of the drought certainly won't be over, and we'd hope to build this long beyond just a Christmas shopping spree.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Grace. It's been a wonderful initiative. Buy from the bush, go travel, visit, get that fantastic mixed grill at the Paragon Cafe in Goulburn or somewhere else around Australia, because there's so many wonderful, wonderful things that you can do, and when you're doing it, you're helping.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And the website's on the screen there, buyfromthebush.com.au. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on. Thanks,
Thanks,
you.
Grace.
Pleasure.